Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Coast to Coast Traders podcast. I'm Robbie.
I'm Joe. What's up, buddy?
What's up, Joe? It's things are good. Spent the day in town. We had the Strawberry Festival.
Oh,
I'm
nice.
not sure if this is like official, but it's been said that Watsonville is maybe the strawberry capital of the world. And so, we just hung out, saw some sights. The niece went on some rides, and we just hung out, had a pretty nice time, and then went out for lunch afterward.
Did you do any strawberry picking?
No, 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 no. It's like it's not in the fields. It's just in downtown. So they block off the streets, and they have your typical uh like whatever your small town crafts fair or any type of like small town event. It's the same situation. You got food booths and tchotchke shops and various stuffs, but just kind of hanging out, support the local community.
Yeah, you got like the carny rides and stuff too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
They all look pretty safe though.
Okay, that's good. I don't want to see you on the evening news.
Yeah, yeah. You got anything
So,
going over in your neck of the woods?
no, just chilling, man. Just my kids been
Yeah.
keeping me busy with like shuttling them back and forth between really not them, just my youngest, but back and forth to camp, basketball games, and softball practice. Very
Yeah.
busy. Yeah.
Well, we got a spicy episode.
Oh yeah.
Lock up the kids. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're gonna get a little crazy. You're out of
Yeah.
control. No, just kidding. It's not gonna be that bad. But maybe if I was unchaperoned, like, and I had actually recorded an episode when you were gone, I might have been a little crazy. But I'll keep it PG, guys.
All right. PG-13 maybe.
Yeah, yeah. So, what do you think we should lead with?
Well, let's bro, I mean the title, dude, we probably just gotta get right.
Okay.
Funny thing to talk. Stripper index. Heard about the stripper
Yeah.
index?
I have heard about it, and I completely forgot about it until you mentioned it. So yeah, let's give people the 411. What's the situation?
The stripper index is basically saying strippers are the best forecasters. They're the best, essentially the best gurus in the market because when tips are flowing in, and the club is lively, things are good, the economy is good. But when that stuff starts to slow down, it's like the first thing to slow down. So strippers are out there saying that the market's slowing down for them. I
Hmm.
watched this one video where this girl, allegedly a exotic dancer, she says that the club has been slower, tips have been slower, and that she said there's less people asking to hit the slopes. Know what she And that means that
Okay.
people aren't. She said actually nobody's
Skiing.
talking about that. Nobody's out there skiing. Nobody's out there with that nose candy. So nobody's doing
Hmm.
anything. And she's basically saying that like, hey, this is bad, real bad.
Yeah, I'd heard about that, and it's funny. I don't remember exactly where it was. Probably some type of YouTube video, but it's really interesting because people that are in the service industry, and you're hearing people, they're almost like an unofficial counselor slash therapist in some way, like the bartenders and anybody who works for tips for the most part. And so yeah, I can imagine they hear a lot of just idle talk from various people in all kinds of different industries, whether they're stockbrokers or just big spenders in general. Like, they hear a lot of interesting things, and I can see how that would be a way for people to like say, "Oh yeah, those observations are pretty interesting," and economically, you can observe those types of things as well with regards to tips and stuff. So that's pretty funny.
Yeah, yeah, and that's basically like in a nutshell. That's more or less what they've been saying. But I have to say, I don't know how accurate this is. Right? Well, doing some research, for example, right,
Hmm.
this strippers were talking about the quote unquote bottom coming in, or I guess a recession coming in September of 22, for example.
Yeah.
And like, if you look at the SPY chart, September of 22, 3 weeks later, it hit a bottom and never returned to, right? And then there's another post, right? That's literally from April 9th that said the stripper index has been reset due to a false stock market pump, making you all believe a recession isn't coming. Don't fall for it. Like April 9th, the market like literally bottomed. The April 9th is the day that it was like Trump put out the tweet, now is a good time to buy. So like it's never it I mean the market is up fat from that day. I'm not saying it'll never go back there. But like, there's some obvious, X posts, tweets, whatever you want to call them now, out there that
But I
false.
will say, Joe, that I think our episode that we recorded was the weekend after that
Hmm?
last red day, and I'm fairly sure that we said I'm not calling the bottom, but this feels like the bottom.
Yeah, yeah.
And you know what? We did
We did it. Yeah, that's right. We did do it.
it.
We did do it. But
Yeah.
there's also another thing that came up on this like search about it is there's a lot of talk about like destinations being very slow, like
Hmm.
Hawaii, Vegas being another one that's like been reporting that traffic is down big time.
Yeah.
So, they're really trying to tie it all together that I guess more and more discretionary spending is down.
Yeah. Well, I would say for me personally, it's about the same because I don't really I keep myself pretty moderate
Yeah.
in pretty much all economies. So I don't have any like personal changes in my lifestyle that are really like, oh, it's specifically because of the economy. Of course, I'm struggling just as everybody else, paying almost like 4.80 a gallon sometimes for gas in California, and $5 a gallon for milk. It's gas and milk are the same price. So, but I got to get my bovine lactate, baby. I love it.
Not me. Not me, bro.
Yeah, you're not a fan of the bovine lactate. All
Nope.
right,
Nope. Nope.
you're one of them nut milk boys.
Yeah, bro. I'm on that almond milk, bro. That almond
Uh,
milk. I can't drink regular milk anymore, man. It jacks up my stomach, dude. I got like too many years of dude,
weakness.
weakness. Yep. Yeah.
Culturally appropriating my beverage.
Dude, I am
Then we got to
I'm just
you got to get
soft,
the
dude.
dairy council to go. You got to get the dairy council and be like, hey, listen, we can't have these guys using our word milk. This is uncalled for. Ah, all right. Well, what's next?
Man, you shared some really funny stuff about Tesla and Waymo and Tesla
Oh yeah.
expanding its areas. So let's jump into that, dude.
Okay. Yeah. So some episodes back, we went on a pretty big tangent when
Mhm.
I came back from vacation talking about Waymo and stuff. But the only reason we're bringing it back up today is because Tesla Robo-Taxi is officially starting service in the San Francisco Bay Area. Well, actually, not just San Francisco, but just the Bay Area in general. So that's from San Jose to San Francisco,
Yep.
and that's a pretty large service area, especially compared to Waymo, because Waymo primarily is just in like the core San Francisco like touristy area and maybe a little bit of Daly City. And I don't know what the full service area is, because if you look in the Grok response there, it mentions how many square miles the service area is in comparison to like Waymo, for example. But there was another Grok post that I saw as well saying a different figure. So Grok isn't, I don't really know what the actual difference is in square mileage,
Yep.
but obviously just looking at the map, it is substantially larger. And so I think that's pretty cool. People that have been gung ho about Tesla long term, they want to see Robotaxi in action and stuff. It's been in Austin, Texas for a while. I'm not sure if there's any other areas besides that. But one of the really key things about it in this area in California is that unfortunately there will be somebody in the driver's seat, some type of Tesla Robotaxi employee.
Yep.
They'll be hands off, but it's primarily for a safety situation because Tesla doesn't want to wait for regulators to give them the go ahead on full self driving. So I guess technically you would call it a ride hailing service, even though there isn't an actual driver, just for the time being.
Okay.
But
Cool.
the funny thing that, that you didn't notice, and in fact, I just recently learned myself, is if you look at the Austin, Texas area, service map for Tesla Robotaxi, it's an interesting geo fence that they got going there. But overlaid in blue is the Waymo service area. So,
Uh,
so yeah, so there's that. Yeah, I don't know if that was deliberate. Probably was, but Waymo wasn't having it, so they've recently increased their service map in Austin as well. So it's just substantially larger than it used to be, and of course larger than the competitor.
Why'd they have to make? Why'd they have to make?
Hey, I didn't make the map, bro. Actually, I think it's because if you use the Robo-Taxi app, it's like a dark mode. So that just might be a coincidence.
That's pretty funny, dude. So now,
Yeah, yeah,
so if Wayne, I mean, I imagine though that if
sure. Hmm.
man,
Yeah,
but this is a perfect segue from Elon is a prankster. He really is. Like
yeah,
that's what some of the rockets even look.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's true.
That's pretty funny. That's pretty funny.
That is.
I have I mean I've everything that I've read online, nothing but positive about the Robo Taxi experience. I mean,
Yeah,
so cool seeing them out there, driverless cars. Experiences is from booking, using.
yeah.
Excited.
I saw a video just recently, maybe within the past month, when they were this couple was comparing Robotaxi and Waymo. So one of them did one of them did the other, and they were just kind of seeing how fast it was to get from one place to the other with each service.
Yep.
And on the Waymo ride, it ended up taking the freeway, while on the Tesla Robotaxi, it didn't. So the trip speed potentially could have been a little bit faster for one or the other if they had both taken it, the same route.
Yep.
So it was interesting from that perspective, seeing which route each one took,
Okay.
and then also like where it dropped off the passenger in relation to where the actual destination was. But overall, from the passenger perspective, they were giving good marks for either one. I don't particularly remember which one was better on the drop off, but I do kind of remember that one of them dropped somebody off like, and then you had to like walk to the restaurant or something like that,
Okay.
and then another one actually pulled into like a parking lot.
Okay. I mean,
But overall, yeah, they were pretty happy.
I've had similar experience with using an Uber before though. When we were in Vegas, we got dropped off at like a restaurant or for a restaurant, and I was
Hmm.
like, I don't even see a sign for this restaurant. Where am I supposed to, you know?
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
then we ended up having to like kind of walk like half a block. So I guess it depends too, like where the destination is, because I don't remember there being a better place to be dropped off. It's kind of like that was the
Sure.
best, that was the closest area. So it's
Yeah.
cool. It's
Right.
cool though, man. Like it's the future, man. It's like it's happening faster and faster. We're just watching the future unfold. You know, I
Yeah, for
remember
sure.
I remember watching things with like in. Have you ever seen that movie? I think it's called The Sixth Day with Arnold.
Yeah, the cloning one,
The
right?
cloning movie, right? Yeah.
Oh, that's a good one. I like that. I haven't
Yeah,
seen that in
it's
forever.
I haven't seen it forever either. I know for sure my wife doesn't watch
Hmm.
it. I don't even need to ask. She grew up under a rock. But uh the in that video they're driving and they're talking and they're like just looking at each other and talking and like no one's actually driving. It's all autonomous. And I remember being like,
Right.
that's crazy. Like, when is that actually gonna happen? And I don't remember, dude, I actually got a what year.
It was 99, wasn't it?
Oh, it's set in the year 2015. So they're only 10 years off on the autonomous drivers thing.
Yeah,
So
that's pretty cool.
yeah, it's like we're here. We're a little late, but we're here.
What year
So
was Total Recall based in? Let's see, Total Recall. What was what year was Total Recall based in? Because that was the first scenario where I saw any type of robo taxi. Remember the Johnny Cab?
yep.
Yeah, I don't see a quick answer on that, but I don't know. That's cool.
Yeah. So Yeah,
We're
so
finally in the future, is what we're trying to say,
we're
guys.
finally in the future. We're finally in the future. So,
Yeah,
lots of big earnings this week, though.
yeah, for sure. We talked about a few last week.
Mm-hmm.
The ones that we were kind of, or at least that I was sort of thinking about:
Mm-hmm.
Apple, Visa,
Yeah.
Roblox.
Hey, you want to talk about a few of
I don't
them?
know. I don't know if there was another one, but we're getting hit hard.
Oh, bro, there was a few different ones. There was Microsoft, Meta. There was some big ones. Amazon.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah,
but let's talk about this Roblox one because you're in this.
yeah. So I mentioned to you that I had a long term position of shares. I think it was like in the high 50s or something like that.
The market,
And
yeah.
when we gapped up on the earnings, it just to me, well, there was two things, because actually, if you zoom out on like a much larger time frame, like a weekly, 5 year, or a monthly or something like that, we actually broke an all time high.
Yep, right here.
But even without like, and frankly, I was oblivious to it. Maybe I should have been more aware of that. But even without knowing that we had broken like a previous all time high, I knew that this this move up, there is probably going to be a retest of some kind. There will definitely be some profit taking, regardless of what the actual earnings, like the data shows. And I felt like I would be kind of kicking myself in some regard if I didn't trim the position. And so I actually was trying to get out, and I was actually having a hard time getting filled. It could have just been me fat fingering with the mobile app rather than using the TD Ameritrade or the Thinkorswim desktop app, but I was having trouble getting filled on the exit.
Yep.
And finally I got out, and I think it was around like 148 something.
That's
So pretty high in from
yeah.
where it was. And they gave it all back, man.
They
And
did.
then some.
And some. Yeah,
Yeah.
they literally came back down and filled the gaps. Big on these post earnings.
Right.
Came back down. They came back down and literally hit the closing price right here. So
Yeah. So that was another thing too. Like, big gap up, really, really strong, like push momentum, and so extended from anything. Like I
yep,
just, and even like if this was a day trading situation, that's a scale opportunity, right? And then maybe you reload when it pulls back to another more convenient level. And definitely the gap fill was on my mind. I don't know that I will reload. I'm just gonna chill for a while on this one, and the position that I have is very much free, so it goes to zero, and it doesn't matter. I don't suppose that's going to happen, but the key metrics basically are substantial, year over year, user was increasing, but some revenue is down. So yeah, long story short on that, that's probably why it sold off, is they didn't like the financials as much as they like the user growth.
yeah. And I think if this is the earnings like pop right here, it came
Hmm.
back down right into the golden zone and started to settle out. This really was a fantastic day two setup, right? For the short.
Oh, for sure.
I'm
Yeah, you
gonna
love those earnings continuation plays.
Dude, this is so nice because you have this big move, right? Then you have,
Hmm.
okay, we're in the golden zone, we pop, we hit the prior all-time highs again, we start to fade off, we're breaking down
Yeah.
under this 10-minute 200. We're on, like, all the clouds, all the EMAs are setting up bearish, and
Yeah.
we get this drop down right in pre-market, making a new pre-market low right before the bell, pull back, flush. Like, here, like, this is, I mean, this is so good. Even if you entered here, you were risking the short, like, it's $3 risk, and then
Hmm.
the gap fill is your target. Like, this area right here around 125. What's the act? Yeah, this area right here, literally at 125 is your target. It's,
Hmm.
more than 2 to 1 reward to risk. So fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you're drawing another set of fibs just from like the opening range, if you had
Mm,
just waited for that first major pullback, that could have been, maybe you missed the opening trade
Yep.
and you're looking for a swing of some kind,
Yep.
or even intraday. That's the great reload as well,
Yeah,
around 10:30 roughly.
this is what he's talking about right here, guys. So Let me just adjust this fib slightly. Right, I'll just blurring a little. So this is perfect call out, bro. Like you have the opening range the first 30 minutes, which really is to right here. You get a wick under the opening range low. It pulls back into the EMAs. You see rejection right here in the golden zone of the RTH, regular trading hours. And then look, then it can't push over that 12 cloud. This 512 cloud. No push
Hmm.
over, no close over. It's just looking weak, 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 and boom, it flushes. So yeah, if you caught this one, this was great. If you caught the reload, that was a great short too. And then from there, on the reload, there was really no reason to stop. If you said once the candle closed over the 12, there's your reason to stop. But again, 125 is your target, so it would have been almost all out.
Yeah, for sure. Like,
Reasonably, you should have been.
yeah, like day one obviously was the sweeter position because after the opening range was set, the highs were basically the middle of the orb, and it was almost perfectly basing under the pre market levels too. So there would have been a lot more juice on the IV on those contracts that day. Obviously, still a decent amount on the follow up, but the first day reaction you're gonna get it gets spicy, right?
Yeah, it really does.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm sure these
Yeah.
contracts are really juiced. Like you said, they pull back up here. The options IV probably really settled out.
Hmm.
Goes, man. It really just
Yeah.
goes. Yeah. Sweet. What about Visa, man? You said some stuff about Visa and their users and stuff. What you got about them?
Yeah. So just a quick follow up on that conversation we had. I mentioned that there were and apparently it's at this point tens of thousands of games that have been removed from Steam and and a website called I think itch.io or something like that. And apparently these are like adult slash horror type of games. And the reasoning that these companies are giving is that they don't want to have things go through their payment network if they could potentially be like um give you a bad look, you know what I mean? So they're basically being a moral police in this situation. And Visa and well, gamers are kind of revolting. So they actually have been calling the crap out of Visa and Mastercard, complaining to an extent where they will either hang up on you. So I've heard, or just continuously read an actual script, but not directly like talk to you in regards to like your query or complaint.
Sure. Thank you for calling Visa. Your opinion is important to it.
Yeah. So they'll read a cookie cutter thing, and so there was one thing that I found was very interesting on an X post because it's been so significant that even Mastercard has posted on X, and there was one thing that they posted specifically. They're like, oh, we don't prevent people from doing this, whatever, as long as it's legal for the most part. But in a specific clause, or I don't know, like, in their terms of service, there's a rule 5.12.7. It says a merchant must not submit to its acquirer, and a customer must not submit to the interchange system any transaction that is illegal. And here's where I think it's interesting. Or, in the sole discretion of the corporation, may damage the goodwill of the corporation or reflect negatively on the marks. So this is where the moral clause comes in, right? So it's at their discretion that they can choose. But I'm sure, Joe, you've probably heard of an app called OnlyFans.
Huh.
Yeah, and they sell some morally questionable products. And how do people pay with that?
I wouldn't
Visa and
know.
Mastercard.
I wouldn't know,
Well,
Robbie, because
I
all my
wouldn't know,
life
but
I've never put a
I
dime
looked
into
it up.
that machine.
Me neither. I've never used the app. I've never downloaded it.
Oh.
I've never looked at it in my life. But for the sake of research, I'm like, okay, well, let's see. Let's see who the hypocrites are. And
Mm.
I just did a quick internet search. Okay, how do you pay for services on OnlyFans? And yeah, Visa, Mastercard,
Oh,
Apple Pay, Google Pay.
oh, bro,
You know.
they're happily accepted there because of the millions of dollars that are getting flooded into that market. They're
Hmm.
skimming their, what do they get, 2 or 3% right off the top? They're happy to skim off of it,
Of course.
bro. This
And
is so absurd that they're gonna take a stance on video games like kind of like what's that expression? This is the hill you're gonna die on, you know?
hmm
Really
And
weird.
it's interesting too because it's like, okay, well, let's say you are going to be a moral authority on whatever. Is it worse to be morally opposed to fantasy or reality? The video games are the fantasy. Literally, nobody is getting hurt, devalued, or abused or whatever in these games. I mean, if you're kind of a freak and you use those things, okay, whatever.
Right,
But
but
the reality is that OnlyFans exists.
they, to be clear too, they're, it's not like you're paying for pirated or stolen software or video games, correct?
Right? No, no. These were games that were on stores, and they removed them from the stores.
Yeah, bro, that's wild. That's
Yeah.
really wild, man. I don't know what to think of this one, man. I feel like this is just, again, it's really weird. Like, this is the hill you're gonna die on, you know?
hmm Yeah. So I mean, I thought that was just an interesting follow up. Visa earnings tanked.
Yeah.
It's pretty awful.
Yep.
The daily candles are looking pretty bad. A lot of things are looking pretty bad. But
Yep.
of course, Visa being uh triopoly. No, it's a what do you call a quadopoly on payment processors?
Mm.
Visa, Master, Discover, Amex. I mean, is there anything else? I mean, I know there's app services now, Venmo and PayPal, but PayPal to some extent is using ACH, but also a lot of the times Visa, Master,
Hmm.
Discover, etc.
Oh, dude, the Visa
So
and Mastercard have testified before Congress that they more or less have a monopoly, especially on things like small businesses, whatever, with their fees. You know, because
yeah,
nobody pays cash. Dude,
right.
my my kids still think it's like funny, dude. I'll go places, whatever, and pay cash. Like, especially if I know it's like a small business or something like that, and I'll literally be at the counter, like, "Hey, is cash still king or what?" And they like laugh, and they're like, "Oh yeah," because
Yeah.
we know how that goes, dude. Some of these small businesses, man, they're getting so raked over the coals and the fees. I mean, it's like
hmm
they almost have to not report some of their cash in order to make ends meet at some of these places. Costs for everything are up, utilities are up, everything is up. It's like, oh yeah, and then who really wins, right? That's a whole segment, whatever. Is that like the banking industry is the one that really wins, right? Because you
hmm
know, okay, I get paid, right? Say I get paid $100.
Yep.
I go buy something that's worth $100. If let's just say Visa gets 2%, but
hmm
now that wherever I just bought that, they're only going to get 98. Okay? And then like over time, that $98 is going to continue to get eroded down, 2% or 3% at a time
hmm
until it's nothing, but it's all in their pocket. Like that's kind of how it goes.
And if you're using any type of card that gives you points, the fees are higher because the businesses are paying for those fees. If you didn't know that.
No, I didn't. So I thought I didn't know that. So I thought, like, let's say for example, I have a Bank of America Visa card.
hmm
Gives me like 1% on everything, 3% at the grocery store, 5% cash back on gas. I
Yeah.
thought that Bank of America gave me that kind of out of their end because most users are paying an interest rate that far exceeds that. So it's kind of like a wash because they're hoping you use the card hoping to get 5% back, but then they're going to charge you maybe 12% or even higher interest, and then it's going to be a net. It's still net in their favor. I didn't think the retailer was.
The retailers do pay. It may be different for like from bank cashback rewards. That could be slightly different, but I do know as a small business that when I see different transactions come through, there are all kinds of different fees in my merchant statement,
Really?
and I can tell which ones are the points cards versus debit or credit. So I'm similar to you when it comes to spending out locally. If I have cash, I'll use it because I know, hey, I don't need you guys to be paying fees. I don't really care about getting points on this meal or whatever.
Yeah.
Or if I can, I'll use the debit card instead of the points card
Yep.
because debit card is the least amount of fees that a merchant will pay.
Gotcha. Yeah. See, I never use my points, and then I don't pay
Right.
interest.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course.
It depends on like where I'm at. Again,
hmm
locally I try to spend cash. So, all right. So we got Visa earnings. We had the Roblox earnings. Any other earnings that were big or sticking? FOMC that was whiplash session.
Yeah. Um. It was the price action was pretty decent though on FOMC. Um, but I mean, we were all in agreement that rates weren't going to get raised or lowered, and they certainly weren't.
Didn't Polymarket was right?
But, yeah, and then we had the jobs report come out though, and some sources are saying that the figures are off by like hundreds of thousands, and that's potentially why we sold off.
Yeah, that's a whole politically
Hmm.
FOMC. Here's a day later, it goes back above them. Jobs report right here. Luscious.
Yeah.
I think this is daily. Yep. Yep. So have a problem. A lot of volume
Well,
on this
we've
too.
mentioned this in the past. We're interested in a SPY gap fill of around 600 or SPX ES 6000, right? But there's a lot of gaps to fill, man. I mean, gee, even going down to 530. Ah, that could be ugly.
Yeah, we
Yep.
by the way I draw them, with the closing price,
Hmm.
we have another gap to here because we close at 67 gap 7.
Yep.
Then we have this one. I think I
Yeah.
have these are X chart too.
Hmm.
Here's area. Actually, speaking of, we have a 10-year bond auction this week at like a 1:01 p.m. I think it's Wednesday. That is
Okay.
something to definitely look out for because the 10-year yields were like wild on like they're like the volatility on the 10-year yield has been crazy.
Hmm.
So it's definitely something to look at and be worth watching, right? Especially as if there continues to be increased fear in the market, right?
Yeah.
Then, you know, what are people going to do? They're going to go to the safe bet, which is, and the dollar was tanking, gold was going up, Bitcoin was pulling back, everything was a mess.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. Tech is crumbling.
Hmm. Yep, yep. So are the
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
all right. So hey, last but not least tonight, if can I cover that thing I mentioned to you? I kind of had a little surprise that somebody hit me with.
Yeah. Of course.
Okay, so let me close out all these grok tabs here. So basically, one of the members in the House of Stacks reached out to me, and they're basically building this desktop app,
Okay.
and trying to create quote unquote the Bloomberg, he says, for retail investors and traders, as you can hear, right? Evidence-based technical
Hmm.
analysis for retail investors and traders powered by AI. And
Yeah.
so basically saying using professional tools at a fraction of the Bloomberg cost, right? Being AI driven with technical analysis and high probability setups, and kind of you can get the evidence based setups and really like trying to set it up in a way that you would specifically define what it is that you're looking for, especially over a period of time, and it would alert you, hey, this is setting up, hey, this is setting up, like your A plus, this is maybe your B plus trade, etc., etc., so that you
So it's
can
based
take.
on your data.
Yeah, yeah. So
Hmm.
and then what he's got here, and I'm gonna link it, and I think we should link it in the description box. Is
Okay.
this survey, right? So we can run through this survey. This is great. So we can run through this survey without spinning it or without actually answering all the questions. But like, I've been trading 2 to 5 years. On
Hmm.
average, how many trades do you take per day? Like, counting NQ scalps and all that stuff. I'm probably in this like 6 to 10 range most of the time. And that
Okay.
includes like if options and trim a swing or whatever. So put that. How many hours per day do you actively watch charts in the markets? Now, I put here personally more than 5, only
Yeah.
because that's time in the morning and then time in the evening for review.
Yeah. Okay.
So But if I'm thinking of like in terms of watching the markets in terms of like actual like trading time, typically like 8:30 to 11:30, maybe even noon is common because if I sit down at the desk to start charting pre-market.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go with that and say studying after the fact and review is not. And
Hmm.
you can, how mentally exhausting do you find the day trading? Well, it depends on what day. So
It depends on the day
dep-
and if I've blown some accounts or not. Am I
mm,
right?
yeah, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
if I'm out here popping props, man, it's a 12, but
Yeah.
uh generally speaking, I feel like I'm in this range, you know.
Okay.
But it really depends. There are some days where I'm like that was a 2, you know?
Hmm.
And
Yeah,
like I just hit my
for
couple
sure.
trades and I'm like, "All right, I'm just, you know what? I'm having a good easy day and I get out of it." So, I'm going to go here cuz lately my stress level has been high.
Okay.
Then and so he's using all of these questions, and you guys can feel free to continue on and go through the survey. I don't want to bore everybody, but he's using these questions um to try to compile some data and then to try to use that to help people in terms of like their setup. And he sent me.
And are these from other people?
No, this is kind of what he's looking for. So in short, you buy a stock, the price goes down. You sell a stock, the price moves up. Sound familiar? Setup View AI is offering professional grade tools. I already read that part. The value behind it is a gold standard evaluation set. The true power of Setup View AI lies in meticulously curated evaluation setup that ensures consistent, accurate trading and investing insights. The data assets come from high quality, well labeled data that reflects real trading and investing conditions. Knowing what to measure, it's not just about the code, it's about defining the right metrics to continue to improve decision making process for you. Top line pain point. Most retail traders and investors lose money because investing and trading is complex, overwhelming, and a lonely journey without access to professional tools or structured decision making. So, kind of just using this in order to help you, even this information, right? After how many hours do you feel you focus dropping off the most? Probably after 3.
Yeah. Mhm.
We'll just run through these. How often do you feel like trading longer?
I'd probably say often. The longer you're in the market, the more chance it is for you to screw up. So,
Yeah. Studies. Oh, okay. Which statement best describes your current situation? You can make between 1 or 4 choices, right? Like, I am
oh, okay.
I'm improving. It continue this way. I feel stuck and not improving. I rush trades to, so you might say like, I feel stuck. I rush trades. I'm losing overall. I feel I need help to improve, right? Like,
Hmm.
let's just say,
Yeah.
um, why do you think you're probably failing? Select all that apply, right? So lack of proven edge, which this one would be the only one that I think is non-emotional, right? Like trading without a
Yeah.
plan, trading often without a plan, emotion, 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 and emotion, right? These are all emotions.
Right.
You select as many as you like. So lack of discipline, problem for me. Or risk
Hmm.
management, me, problem for me, and even sometimes.
Just check them all. No, I was
It's
kidding.
it's funny because I know it's proven setups, and I'm just like, nah, I'm not waiting for those. I'm waiting
Yeah,
for something else.
for sure. I
Uh,
understand.
which of these reasons most often lead to your losses? Oh, see, this one I told him he needed to. I think he needed to fix, right? Because I feel like you should be able to select at least more than one.
Yeah, that's true.
But like, so I got emotional in forced trades. How often do you wish someone was next to you confirming your analysis or setups or guiding you during your trading? I think sometimes. What do you think?
That's fair to say. It's nice to have that validation when you
Yeah.
share an idea with somebody and you're like, oh yeah, I'm thinking of the same thing.
Hmm.
But then again, if you're in an echo chamber with people that don't necessarily challenge your own opinions, then maybe just it could be two idiots that are thinking the same way, and it's like, congratulations, you guys are both retards, and you're gonna lose money. you know. So,
Damn, bro. Damn. Why you got it? You're just telling everybody how we are. You guys,
hey,
if you
you know
guys to
what?
see
I
it.
am what I am.
I am what I am, man. Yep, that's. I'm gonna put this sometimes. Which
Sure.
kind of support would help you most while training? Select all apply, right? Confirming setups, right? So I think that one's good
Hmm.
just for like the data validation. Help me with correct
Yeah.
position sizing. I think I think but this one's another one too. It needs to select more than um
Yeah.
but he's supposed to go through this and kind of adjust the survey, so I hope he does. But uh yeah, I think that there's like this one, for example, is something that I think gets a lot of people because, like, let's say, for example, there are certain prop accounts that are 50K accounts, but you really only have a 2K or 2,500 dollars in drawdown, right? Well,
Yeah.
they give you access to five or more minis. That is not.
Yeah. That's a one and done. It could be anyway.
Oh yeah, could definitely be, especially if it's more than 5 minis, and you could not take 5 minis merchant account with 2,500 bucks, even on Ninja Trader, which
Right.
is low margins.
Hmm.
So I think these are all like good options to pick. Imagine having clear information in real time, like your A plus setups are forming, probabilities based on X, Y, Z. How valuable. I think that's a game changer to just know, like,
Yeah.
if you know this, and this is why I think a lot of people. I think some people get drawn into professional gambling because like, okay, the blackjack, for example.
Hmm.
The book says, I've got a 10 or 11 against maybe a 4, 5, 6. I should double down. The odds are in my favor. That type of thing.
Yeah. Hmm.
But you don't have that in the market.
Right.
So I think it's the go game. And then wish list, right? Describe your perfect training companion.
Ah. Thanks, buddy.
Thanks, buddy. Yeah. So
We'll sink in the ship together.
that's it, man. We ride or die. That's it. So yeah, dude, I think you should do it maybe if you don't mind and just give him some more data, and anybody watching, give this guy some more data to help him out. He just started to share it with
Yeah,
us.
sure. It sounds pretty cool. We talked a little bit back on my solo episode. I was
Mhm.
doing some automated training, and it's still in the testing phase. And dude, some of these days, this bot's getting beat up. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
and so it's not consistent for me yet where I'd want to use it on my accounts, but I have seen some very remarkable trades when there is a solid trend established. And I'm not just from like the fact that it made money, but like almost from a very good technical perspective. Like we're talking like solid break and retest types of trades. And then coincidentally, the profit target is like right at the pivot. And even regardless of it going more than that target or not, it's like there's still really sound trades. And when it hits, it's looking good. But on the days that it's choppy, it's like, okay, how can I use this on a choppy day? So like from from a non-trader perspective, you want to come to a service like this and be like, I just want something to do it for me because I don't want to think about the market. I don't know anything about the market or something of that effect, right?
Right.
But that's hard to program. But if you have a trading mindset and maybe you are able to identify when the market is choppy, range bound, or whatever, what the ATR is, then maybe you're like, okay, maybe I will have a shorter profit target today because we're in the range, or I won't turn it on this ticker. And for instance, I think it was Friday where ES. I was testing it on ES recently, and ES was hitting. It was false on that day, but it got wrecked on gold. And
Gotcha.
I want to say the gold performance was like 1 out of 6 trades, whereas on ES it was just 2 really really solid trades.
Okay.
So
On
you know,
Friday on ES.
it's either Friday or Thursday.
Okay, yeah, because I mean Friday. I mean, even still, there was actually both. Friday had a
Yeah,
really great.
yeah. Let me double check on what that looked like really quick, because that'll just looking at the chart, I'll know for sure. Yep. Yeah. It caught a short and it caught a long. Hmm.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
All right, man. Well, somehow we managed to go 45 minutes.
That's all good. We got a little bit more to talk about.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, yeah. So
Damn.
long time ago,
Galaxy
I
far,
was
far
talking to you
away.
about in a galaxy far, far away in a prior glorious version of Robbie, I mentioned that we were doing a one con challenge in the House of Stacks. So from evaluation to payout sort of situation. And I recorded all this footage.
Yeah.
And the challenge for me was, only one contract at a time,
Mini.
NQ trades only, only one mini. Or I suppose you could have done 10 micros, but for me it was just minis at the time. So NQ trades, 10-point stop loss, and one contract a day. So the challenge was how to go from evaluation to payout. And I recorded all that footage. The trades looked great, and I never put out a video. I put out a quick YouTube short, and
Mhm.
I was talking to a fellow trader that we both know, and she was talking about how she's interested in maybe doing some type of trading creator account. I don't know if it's going to be on what platform, but we were just talking about it, right? And I was just kind of sharing some of my like struggles with content creation, and basically I was just telling her, there's going to be some barriers to entry. It just depends on like how much production you want to put into the videos versus the time, or versus like how long they're going to be, how well received they're going to be, like. And so I was basically just saying I think you just got to do it,
Yeah.
because she was just kind of figuring out like she was just kind of on the fence, like when she wants to do it, how she wants to do things. I gave her a couple of tips on software to use, and then I was also sharing with her that whole one con challenge footage and how I had all this stuff um, on the back burner. I just haven't done anything with it.
Yep.
And she's like, "Well, I guess you should really just do it, and like, yeah, I should take my own advice, right?"
Yeah. You should. You
Eh,
should, because it's pretty solid
Yes.
stuff.
Yeah. So, like, part of the issue for me was I had this really grand creative vision, but the bottom line is that I'm not really a good video editor. And in order to achieve this, creative vision,
Yep.
I'd have to spend a lot of time editing footage and animating and all kinds of stuff. And so, as a result of that barrier to entry, it just like the whole project stagnated. And as you know, I've been reading Ray Dalio's Principles, and in the end, or near the end anyway, he's got this quote. He says, "Don't be a perfectionist, because perfectionists always often spend too much time on little differences at the margin, at the expense of other big." I might have misquoted that, but at the expense of other big things, important things. Be an effective imperfectionist. So the takeaway for me is that, like, yeah, I'm not going to be perfect at this video editing. It's not going to be as flashy or perhaps as glamorous as I had originally wanted or hoped. But the content, I guarantee, is going to be solid, because you're gonna see the trades in real time that I took, and I'm gonna be talking. I'm gonna be voicing over the trades with what I could have done better, what my setups were, what the emotions were, and things like that. And the plan is to probably do maybe 3 videos a week, until, from the start to the payout.
Yeah.
But right now, I'm just going through all the footage, and I'm kind of giving myself the base script slash talking points, so that way, as I release each day's trade, I can just talk over that. Because originally I was also thinking, well, maybe I release this as just like a one-off video, and it's like an hour long.
Yeah.
Originally, when I was putting together all the footage, it was probably like 3.5 hours. That's based on like looking at the chart from like just before the first trade, and then in real time till the last trade concluded. And then if I smashed it down as much as I could to just only recording the live footage with maybe a few seconds in between or something like that, then it got down to like under an hour for everything from start to finish.
Okay.
But that was still a little bit overwhelming, because there's a lot of editing there and stuff. And so I feel like if I just break it down one video per day, that is a lot more of a manageable size for me.
Yeah.
And that is just like, okay, yeah, one video, it's going to be kind of a little bit of a series, so people will come back and check it out. And and if I just do it in small chunks, it's more achievable than trying to just do one big thing.
Yeah. It's like you're kind of combining multiple concepts there. Like for example, that's saying, how do you eat an elephant one bite at a time? Right. And
Hmm.
then plus, like, from an understanding content creation standpoint, most people are really big fans of that short form. So if
Hmm.
you see, a video that's like an hour long, you might be like, oh, I'll never watch this. But like, if it's just like
Yeah, that too.
if the video clips are, you see, it's just 2 minute video, like I'll check this out for 2 minutes. Like, let me check out his trade for 2 minutes, right? Because a lot of your trades
Well,
have
these will
like common
probably be
themes.
roughly probably 10 minutes to
Okay.
15 minutes per day because at the very least, I know there were several days where it's like I took some back to back trades
Okay.
and or they weren't exactly back to back, but like there was like one particular day that I recently shared with you. It was 4 trades, but that time span I think was over like 15, 20 minutes.
Okay.
So crunching that down, talking over the trade, it won't be maybe 1 to 1 on like the full day because I will be cutting out some of the time in between.
Okay.
But I'm looking at about 10, 15 minutes, and I think that's a lot more manageable for some people.
Mhm.
I hope anyway. But the main goal for me really was to just take the challenge and also just reinforce the concept that you don't have to go crazy on the evaluation combine stage to rush passing those accounts. You can
Okay.
pass them almost as quick using regular repeatable setups with just like small size or one contract versus the I want to pass this in 2 days by forcing 5 contracts and 5 minis or something, whatever it is. And for me, it was 4 days. So
Yeah. It was very
I've
solid.
yeah, I'm looking forward to putting that out, and you guys can maybe hold me accountable. But I don't know exactly when because I'm still working on editing the notes and stuff. But I want to say within 2 weeks, I want to at least start putting the first video out. And by the time I put the first one out, I should be able to get a few out in that week. But basically, in a couple of weeks' time is when I want to start putting this thing out. So that's the planish.
All right, man. Let's see it, dude. Let's see it. I'm
Yeah,
excited to see it. I mean, I know I've seen some of the trades, but I'll watch them all over, dude. It was good. It was
cool.
would you say that was like some of your best trading too?
Yeah, and in fact, I was mentioning to you somewhat recently. What did I say? I want to trade like the old Robbie.
That's right. Yeah, you did say that. You did say that. So yeah, man.
Yeah, because there were some real banger trades in there, very consistent, just setups and no dilly dally garbage. I mean, there were some mistakes, that's for sure, but overall, it was really cool, and especially the last trade was so good that I wasn't even looking at the P&L, and I had passed the challenge. And
Oh
I
yeah.
wasn't even aware that I passed the challenge because I wasn't focused on the PL. I was just focused on managing the trade because I thought it was a really good trade.
Yep.
And here I was, 15 points over the target of $3,000, and it came back down. And only after it came back down did I realize that I was already above the threshold. I should probably lock this out and not be too greedy, even though I thought the trade had room to go.
Yeah.
You only need to be in the market for as long as you need to be. In this case, was for hitting that $3,000 target, and why chance it just to get an extra couple of bucks that literally doesn't mean anything
No.
on the evaluation stage.
No, it doesn't. But oh
Yeah,
man, that's good. I look forward to seeing it. Hopefully the viewers
cool, cool.
watch you do it.
Yeah, yeah, I hope so, guys. So I don't know. Let us know what you guys think about any of this random stuff that we talk about from time to time. We'd love to hear your comments in the on the videos,
Oh yeah.
and maybe I want to do live episodes one of these days. I'd like to anyway.
Yeah.
See what kind of riff-raff we got watching our stuff.
Sounds good. Sounds good to me. I'm down.
Hmm.
I'm down, man. All right.
All right, guys. Thanks for
Appreciate
watching. We appreciate you.
appreciate you all guys. Have a great week. See you next time.
Bye.